know it's a bigger than usual canvas, so you might not be able to see every square inch, but it's close. That's the edge. Yeah, I think we're doing good. And you can see that this has a little bit of paint on it already. And I'm going to tell you what I did. I just used white. I covered my entire canvas with just the Anita's white acrylic paint. And while it was wet, I added in a few drops of Drizzle Gray by Delta, and then I just smooshed it all around with my brush and let it dry. Nothing fancy, just wanted a little background color on before I started. So just a little bit of white and a little bit of gray all over. I got a little something here. I'll cover that up. So to get started, I have my handy dandy little styrofoam plate that I am going to put my color in. So I'm going to start with the metallic pearl. So I am just going to put some of this paint on my canvas, on my palette. And I don't know if you guys, how many of you guys have ever stenciled before, but I'm a stenciler from way back when, and so I'm going to kind of walk you through how I stencil and how you should stencil and all that stuff. Because a lot of people, when they stencil, they pull their stencil up and they're sad because the paint has seeped all up under their canvas. So I'm going to show you how to avoid that. So the first thing you want to do is take your brush and dip it into your paint, okay? And then you're going to swirl it so that it kind of distributes the paint evenly into your stencil brush, okay? Now that's still a lot of paint on a stencil brush for stenciling. So if I went directly to my stencil at this point and started applying the paint, it's gonna seep because that's too much. So I have a paper towel here. Yeah, see, this is why. Too much paint on your brush will always result in leaking under your stencil. So I'm going to take that brush and I'm going to take on my paper towel, and I call this offload. So you're going to just rub on your paper towel till you think you've just taken all the paint off, hey Sandy, off of your stencil, but you really haven't. So I'm going to just move my stencil where I want it. And I'm not too worried about holding it in place right now because I'm really literally just adding a little bit of pearl to my background just to give it a little hint of something. So you might not even be able to see this in the end. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm holding my stencil still, but I'm not stressing about it if it moves. And I'm just going to stencil. See how I'm going in a circular motion too? So it looked like I took all of that paint off by rubbing it onto my paper towel, but I really didn't, and I hope that I can tilt this enough to show you that there is still paint on my brush and that it's stenciled. So there you go. Can you see that? Give me some hearts if you can see it, because I can't really read the messages. So if you can see that, give me a big old heart. So there was very little paint on my stencil brush. Yay, hearts, I see hearts. So, you know, you think you've taken all the paint off of your stencil, off of your brush, but you really haven't. You really need just a teeny bit of paint on your brush when you're starting to stencil. So really offload that. So basically, I am just going to continue doing that, and I'm going to overlap and just keep covering, you know, almost all of my canvas with some of the stencil. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to move it. Actually, I'm going to move it up to the top here. I'm going to hold it in place. I'm going to get more paint on my brush, but I'm also going to still take it to my towel and offload so I don't have a glob. It almost looks dry. So I'm just going to take it back to my canvas and do it again. I'm going to do a couple. Hang on, I may have offloaded a little too much. I'm going to do a couple and then I'll pick it up and show you again. So I'm going in a rotation, and you can do this two ways, whatever is more comfortable for you. And how I stencil depends on what I'm stenciling. Sometimes you'll use the pounce method, and sometimes you'll use the rotation. I'm going to go ahead and add one of those little leaves in, just a slight hint. So I'm just going to do it again. I'm going to move over here, do one more, then we'll pick it up and show you again. So I'm going to load my brush again. Lots of paint. See how much paint is on there? That's a no-no for stenciling. So I'm going to go back to my paper towel and get some of that off. Just offload. And what it's doing too is spreading it. Now you see how much better that is? It's spreading it evenly throughout all the bristles. So I'm going to go back over here and do it again. And then we'll show you. So this is kind of our first step in my, I don't know what I'm doing to these hydrangeas. So we're gonna see, I'm gonna do this little leaf too. Get a little bit more on my brush. Just pop this leaf in, just for fun. So let's look and see what we have. Oh yeah, I got a little bit of a bare spot. I wanna fill that in. Okay, so let's take a peek. So now this is what we have. See? Oh my goodness, I love it already. And now when we do our, I'm going to continue to do, this around the whole canvas, but then we'll come back and we'll add a few with color. So it's like multi-dimensional layers of happiness. So I am going to come over here and add one on this corner. I'm kind of overlapping too, because from the angle I'm sitting, I can see that where my stencil is. So I'm kind of overlapping them so I don't have any big holes. Not that it'll matter in the end. I don't think it will, but we'll see. So I'm adding more paint to my brush and going back over here and getting all of that excess off with my paper towel. See how it's all over my paper towel? So now I'm going to hold my stencil and just cover in a circular motion. I need to hold that better. Just going to cover the whole thing. That's okay, Rhonda. You didn't miss nothing fancy. I'm going to add in just a faint touch of those leaves. I'm almost empty on my brush, so it won't be much of something. So that one's pretty faded, but I don't mind. They don't all have to be perfect. So I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to keep going, guys. The stencil came from Royal Designs. I think it's royaldesignsstudio.com. So let me add some more. I'm just going to keep adding, and then we'll take a peek at it in a minute. Looking so good, guys. This is just the little background too. This is not even, so now I'm going to flip it so it won't matter with the hydrangea, but maybe with a few of the stencil or with a few of the leaves. I'm going to just flip it over and do a reverse. So we'll get paint. We'll offload excess so we don't have a blurry mess. And we're going to do another layer. I cannot wait to see the end result, and I promise not to do a single thing without you. Even though I am setting myself up for some comedy if I mess this up. But it's okay. If you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at, right? Right. Look how good this is starting to look. So this, when you pour the resin on it, it'll show through a little bit. It'll be so stinking pretty. So I'm gonna do one up here at the top. I'm gonna pull this towards me a little so you can kind of see what I'm doing. I actually need to add a little bit more paint. This is just the pearl, or the white metallic, which is kind of pearl. We'll dip. I'm gonna get some of that in my brush. Then I'm going to use my paper towel to get the excess out. You don't want bunches and bunches. 16 by 20, Ann. So we're going to do another. I'll do a little leaf. And I'll do a little piece of one on the corner. I know this is boring because you really can't, well, you can kind of see. I'm looking at my little iPad, and I do see that you can see a little bit. So I'm going to get a little more on my brush. We're just going to keep going. And I'm not trying to even, as I'm stenciling, as I'm swirling the paint around my stencil area, I'm not even micromanaging that, guys. I'm not even like, if I skip a spot in the leaf, I'm not worrying about that, because in the end, you know, this is just going to be, I call it ghost. You know, it's just going to be a little faint hint of something in the background. So don't worry too much about, you know, every little detail. We get a little more. Whoops, offload. I just want to get a little faint hint of flower in the background. Let me get a little leaf here. See if there's anywhere else I want something. Maybe a little piece here. Now I'm just kind of filling in a few holes. Get a little bit more. I'm not doing anything fancy, I promise. This is awesome. I'm very pleased with this. Very pleased with how this is turning out. Just filling in a few little gappers. And then we are going to start with some color. And we're going to add a little bit of color, but we're going to do it very lightly. Okay, I'm going to set that over here for a sec. Look at this. Oh my goodness. And it's just no rhyme or reason, just random pearl applied all over. I love it. Now listen, I'm going to use my same stencil brush because I have a couple, but I was doing a video earlier today and I used them and they're still wet, and you can't stencil with a wet brush. So you know, they're still wet from me cleaning them. So I am just going to use this same one. I'm just going to offload. I'm just going to clean it out as best I can from the pearl, because I can't use the other ones because they're soaking wet from me washing them. So now I think what I'm going to do on my same plate is I'm going to add a little bit of a couple of these colors. This is Americana Wisteria, which is kind of a pale purple. And I also have some Folk Art Windsor Blue. Glad you're here, Darlene. Honey, this just popped in my head, Lisa. I was going through all my old stencils and trying to find one to do. I'm doing a little workshop in my membership group showing them how to multi-layer dimension with stencils. And this one popped. You know, I love hydrangeas. They're my favorite flower. And, you know, I've done several glass hydrangeas, but this stencil popped out of my pile, and I was like, oh, we got to use that. We got to do something. Okay, so this color is Light Gray by Folk Art. So just something that's not white. So I'm also going to add a little bit of extender to these colors because I want them to be translucent. Okay, I don't want them to be stark, hard purple, blue, gray. So this is Faux Effects extender, and it's just what I have. But the Folk Art brand sells the little tiny ball of extender in the Hobby Lobby. Okay, so you can get that just for a few bucks. So I'm just gonna add 1 drop or so to each of my colors, because that gives me more open time, which means I can move the color around longer, and it gives me more translucency. So it kind of breaks down that pigment and makes the color a little less in your face. So I'm going to do this one. And I may even add some white over here, because I may want to take these colors down a notch, because this is pretty bright, and for this particular layer I want it to be minimal. So I'm going to add some white to my palette too. I'm going to add some here and some here, because what I may do, and this is how I mix color. I don't want to add white to this, because this is a lot of color, so to get to the color I'm kind of looking for, I would probably have to add half the bottle of white. So instead of adding white to the dark color, you add the dark color to the white. So I'm just going to scoop up a tiny little bit and add it to my white, and there. That's kind of the color I'm looking for. There we are. I'll clean that, and we're going to do the same with the purple. So I'm just going to scoop up a little bit of purple and see what we come up with. The purple is not too bad on its own, so I think I can add more. But that blue is out there. Hey Gail, we don't know what we're doing yet. We're making a hydrangea. We're just doing something a little different. We have stenciled some really pearlized hydrangeas using a stencil from Royal Design. And now we're going to do another layer using the same stencil and just a couple of random flowers. Not as many as we did here. Maybe just 3 or 4. Probably 3, because I'm an oddball girl. Color stencils, flowers with color, just a really light version of color. So I am going to take my brush, and we're going to do the same process, guys. We're going to offload just like before. So I'm going to add just some white too. I mixed up all my whites. So I am going to use my same brush, and we're going to have the same process. I'm going to dip into my white, saturate my brush pretty heavy, but then I'm going to go to my paper towel, and I'm going to get a lot of that off of there, because I want a very little on my brush. So I'm going to pull this over so you can see. So I'm going to start with white and just add a few random splotches. I'm going to be very still. Then I'm going to dip in to my blue, and you see how it only got on one side? We don't want that. So I want to blend it in to my brush. So I'm going to grab another plate. This is a dirty plate, but it'll be okay for blending. I'm going to make sure my brush, all the bristles have that color, okay? So now I'm just going to come in and add a few pops of that blue, and then I'm actually going to add a little purple to it as well. So we'll get the purple on. I'm going to offload over here and come in some of those spots where the blue is not. We'll add a little bit of this pale purple. Well, let's see what happens. Can you guys see that? I love it. Can you see that? Can you see the color? Oh my goodness. It's just a very faint, which is exactly how it was in my head. Just a very faint bit of color. I am so excited that it's so far, so good. So excited. So I'm gonna do a couple more. I am gonna do one kind of piled up right next to this one. I'm gonna start with my white again. I'll offload on my towel. And we'll add a little bit of white and a couple of spots. Then we'll come back with the blue again. Too much paint. So we offload. Much better. So now I'm going to come in and just, oops, I shifted. Just add a couple of pops of color. I don't want anything too loud, so you know, I'm building up color as I go, so it'll get darker and darker. Oh my goodness, guys. Oh, heavens to Betsy. Got my hair, got paint in my hair. Hang on. Maybe put that hair up. Okay, I'm gonna do more. I'm gonna do another one. So I'm gonna come over here and maybe pile up here, just right there. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Actually, I forgot to add purple to that, but that's okay. We'll add mostly purple to this one. So I'm gonna start with my white. We'll offload. And I'll come in. That still had a little bit of blue in it, but that's okay. So I'll get my purple. Lots of purple on the brush. So let's get some of it off. This is so fun. See, you know how sometimes you have something in your head and you don't know if it's gonna work out. You just have this thought, I need a little more purple. That was a little too light. I want a little more color on that one little one. Offload. So you think you're like, okay, yeah, I want to do this, and you get it in your head, and suddenly, you know, you're like, oh, well, that didn't turn out like I expected. That happens to me a lot, guys. Oh my goodness, can you see it? That happens to me a lot. So don't think that it doesn't. It does happen to me a lot. So I need actually to take a paper towel because I can tell with this stencil that I'm getting a little bit of accumulation on my stencil, so it's kind of having some buildup. So I'm gonna lay my stencil where, I'm gonna do a little cheat. I'm gonna clean my stencil, but I'm gonna clean it like a cheater. I'm just gonna put it where I know I'm gonna stencil next, and I'm gonna take a pad side of my paper towel and just wipe some of that off. That way, if any of the paint rubs off, it rubs off where I'm about to paint anyway. So, okay, so I want you to stay. I'm gonna get into my white again and my purple. I'm just gonna do all one. And I need a new section of paper towel. So I'll offload, then bring it to the dance. A little bit of purple. We'll just add a little on this side. Then we'll get the blue. We offload. And we'll fill in the blue where we didn't have purple. And I'm kind of pouncing now because I want it to be really random. I don't want it to fill in. I want it to be just like a little splotch of color. Oh my goodness. This is fantastical. And I see a hair. I'm shedding. Well, let's get out of there. Oh, it's stuck to my brush. Okay, so I'm gonna do, what do I have, 4? All right, I'm gonna do one right here and then I'm gonna be done. I like odd numbers, so I'm gonna do the 5th one right here. Oh my goodness, guys, this is so pretty. I'm gonna actually do the, ooh, I didn't offload. Almost got in trouble. Offload the blue. We'll come in with some of the blue. Then I'm actually going to dip in. I haven't used any of the gray yet. So I'm going to dip into my gray, offload on my paper towel, and add a little bit of gray to this one. Whoop! Oh my goodness, I love it. So I'm going to do one more thing because I obviously I can't stop. I'm going to do like just a little piece on the side here. And I'm still using my the gray that I already had on my brush. And I'm going to dip into a little bit of blue, offload, just pounce in a little blue. OMG. Oh. Can you guys see this? Oh my goodness. I want to add one more piece. I need to shift because I want to add one more little half piece over here on the side. Oh my goodness. I can't even, y'all. I love it so much. So I'm going to add one little piece here, and I'm going to do the, oops, I'm going to do the gray. This is, nothing about this is pre-planned except for pulling out the right colors that I wanted. Actually, I'm going to add a little bit of white to my palette. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants, guys. I'm going to add a little white. And I'm going to pounce that in. And then we're going with purple. Got a little purple. We'll offload. Gosh, I'm glad I offloaded because that was a lot of purple. So I'm just going to come in and add some purple. Now when I'm looking at it through my stencil, and here's a clue, guys. When you're looking at it through your stencil, you don't think you've got any color on. It looks so light, but once you take your stencil off, you kind of, well, I call it taking a peek. So hold your stencil in place before you think you need to add more color, and then you can pull it and see that you've got plenty of color on there right then. Yes, so look, oh my goodness, I hope that y'all can see this color. So basically we have a layer of pearl, and then we came back with the purple, which is the wisteria, and a lightened version of Winsor blue, and our folk art light gray and some white, and made a few little hydrangeas over the top that just have a tiny bit of color in them. Now I'm going to offload, I'm going to wipe down my stencil again, but I'm going to put it somewhere over here so that if I get a little stencil or little paint on the thing, it won't matter on the canvas. I want to preserve this. I don't want to have to get up and wash it, because normally that's what you would have to do until we're done. So I'm going to set all this crap aside. And now we are going to do something super duper fun. We are going to mix some color. I should have brought some water for my stencil brush, but I didn't. Yes, the purple is a good color. So now I am going to use my heavy gel. This is golden heavy gel, and you can use it by itself. It dries clear. It is extremely transparent, so you can sculpt or stencil with this and let it dry, then paint over it, or you can just add color to it. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to add a little bit of color to it, and then we're just going to make maybe 3-dimensional hydrangeas. Oh, I love it. I can see the color really well. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to dump it right in. Actually, yeah, right into this one. I don't want to put it in that dark, dark, dark blue. So I'm going to get about, I really need something besides this stick. That stick is not conducive. let's get this stick. So I'm going to get about a teaspoon. And I'm going to dump it into my blue. And I'm going to do the same thing with my purple, except I don't have a lot of purple, so I'm going to add a little bit more purple to my palette. And since that's a mild color, I'm just going to go right into it. So I'm going to mix these with the heavy gel, the color and the gel together, and maybe even a little bit of the gray. We're going to make some color, some dimensional color out of this. So let me put the top back on this. So I'm just going to mix my gel in with my color, and then that makes my heavy gel purple. It's going to be gorgeous. Now I'm not going to do a lot of this. Just want a couple because tomorrow, or Saturday, probably tomorrow, but it may be Saturday, depends on how crazy my day is, we'll come in and we're going to add glass. Yes, you know I have to add glass, right? So let's go to the blue. So I made myself a nice little textured purple. So let's see if we had enough blue. I think we did. To make a blue. Yes. You wipe that off. And we'll make a little bit of this taupey gray color. Now this is the fun part. Okay, so we have 3 colors on our palette. I'm making a mess, so I am going to use my palette knife to apply these colors through my stencil onto my canvas. The hardest part about this is deciding where to put the flowers. So since this corner is kind of bare, there's all the color is here. I think I'm going to start right here. I'm going to lay my stencil where I want. Hey, Miss Inga. I'm going to lay my stencil where I want my flower to be. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to dip into my blue. So I've got blue on my palette. I'm going to hold my stencil, and then I'm going to apply this texture over the top of my stencil, almost like butter and toast, okay? I'm just going to, can you see? Let me move over a little. So I've got my butter on my knife, so I'm just going to scrape the blue across, and it fills in those holes. So let me get a little more blue. We'll do a random, just scraping it very gently, because you don't want to shift the stencil and you don't want it to seep up under your stencil. So now we'll get just a smidge of purple, and we'll fill in a little bit of the places where we didn't apply the blue. So we'll put the purple here. And a little more, just loading it up like butter. So we'll add a little here. And I'm just stenciling one color right on top of the other one too, or traveling, using my palette knife so that they kind of blend together. And now I'm going to use some of this gray. Not going to use much of it, just a smidgy. So I'm going to get some gray on my blade and just kind of come over a couple of spots, a little more. This is going to be awesome. Need a little more. So now I want to smooth it out just a little so it's not peaked. And who's ready for the reveal? Actually, I want to add a little more purple because it looks like a line right there. So I'm just going to take a teeny bit on the tip of my blade and just kind of connect that so it doesn't look so much like a line. Yes, it's golden, extra heavy gel gloss. Okay, so now what we're going to do, now that I've got all of that gel in my area, I am going to very gently lift my stencil. Oh, I love it. With the exception of this line right here, I can just scrape that off. Anything you don't like, you can just scrape off. But look at that. I hope you guys can see that. I'm going to see if I can get you close up. Can you see that? Can you see that it's raised? It's not flat like paint. It's raised up. So let's do another. You can only do a few. We're only going to do a few, and for several reasons, because once you start building up in your stencil, you really need to stop and clean it, and we're not going to do that. So I'm just going to add a few dimensional ones, because we're also going to come in today or tomorrow and do some more stuff to this. So I'm just going to do 2 more. And also you have to be careful. Remember how when I was doing the paint, I could overlap. You can't do that with the gel, because if you get the edge of the stencil into that, it's going to smear it, because this takes way longer to dry. So I'm just going to come over and put another one like right here. So we'll do the same thing. I'm going to start with my blue. Loaded my palette. I'm going to hold carefully, and I'm going to fill in one whole side, try to, with the blue. Then we'll do purple on the other side. So we'll get nice, and you have to be gentle too. If you scrape hard, you take the risk of the gels going underneath your stencil, and you don't want to do that. So now I'm going to take some of my purple. There you go, G. Absolutely I will, Rhonda, always. So I'm going to add some purple. Sorry, it's like I'm being really quiet because it's like I'm concentrating now. I'm concentrating. Now I'm going to use some of the gray on the outside. And maybe a little more blue. Just a hint of blue, so it doesn't look like we candy striped it. A little bit of blue. Got this. I'm so pleased because so far it has turned out kind of like what I was expecting. So I'm going to raise very slowly, very carefully. Just going to raise it up. Oh my goodness. Hang on. I love it so much. Do you guys do that too when you're making something? Or are you like, oh no, I love this. This is the best ever. And just scrape off some of that funny stuff where the leaf kind of ran into it. So let's look at that piece. Can you see the dimension? I'll take some good pictures. So we need to add one more. I'm going to flip it around. And I think we'll stay close. I don't know. I'm trying to decide if I want to bring it way over here or if we should stay close. I think I'm going to just do it over here. We'll just get in the corner. Let me raise you up a little bit so you can kind of see where I am. So I'm going to go right here. Ooh. So I'm going to very gently, the stencil is getting really saturated, so this definitely will have to be my last one. But I need to be very careful so I don't get seepage. So I'm going to get my little thing. Yeah, I do that sometimes too. I ruin things. Don't think I don't. So we're going to start with our blue. The good thing about, you know, if you just keep going and then it's like, well, I should have stopped 10 minutes ago. Just stop. Let it dry. Move on to something else and then come back. Once it's dry, you can probably fix that. You know, you can go over the top and fix what you kind of boo-booed. But if you keep trying to manipulate it while it's wet, then you're probably just going to keep getting a terrible mess. So know when to stop, even if it's too late. Let's get some purple. So I'm doing this really gently, guys. I'm not scraping really hard across my stencil. I'm going to add a little bit of gray and then we'll smooth it out a little bit. A little bit of gray on my trowel. Not much, just a smidgy. Now I'm going to wipe my trowel off and then I'm just going to smooth all this out just a little bit so I don't have those lines. Very gently. All right, ready for the big reveal? I know, step away from the stencil. Let's move this over, away out of my reach. Oh my goodness. I love it. I need to put this away out of my reach too so I don't do another one. So I'm going to come in here and get some of these little sprigs off. Oh guys, oh, I'm so excited for the potential of what's going to happen tomorrow. Oh my goodness. Okay, so look. That is so gorgeous. Seriously. So, to review. Here's what we did. We took our stencil and we did pearl through our stencil pretty much all over. We've kind of just filled in the entire background. So then we came in, I'm trying to clean up while I talk. We came in and I added just some painted hydrangeas on top of the pearl. And then we did the heavy gel with the same colors in it, just in a few spots. So this is really pretty. So it's a multi-layered process. There's kind of like 3 layers of different hydrangeas, the pearl, just the painted ones, and then the dimensional ones. So I think what we'll do tomorrow is we'll come in and we'll just make some glass ones. We'll just do maybe apply a bunch of leaves. I don't know if we'll paint them or just use glass or, you know, but we're just gonna do, we're not gonna do like a vase. We're just gonna do like 5 piles of hydrangeas and leaves, and then all this will be the backdrop. Yes, the base coat was, I base coated the whole canvas white, and while the white was wet, I added just a few drops of the drizzle gray and then just smushed it around just to give it a little bit of dimensional background. So I started with that, then we did the pearl all over, then we did a couple 5 or 6 random purple, blue, and gray, and then we did the dimensional ones. So I went through my bucket of green glass, because I have a bucket for every color, and just picked out some shards of green that I had in my bucket for leaves. Okay, so, and these are just pieces that were already, I just picked them out. I didn't do anything to them. I didn't cut them. I haven't done anything to them. These are just pieces that were already in there. So in our boot camp, we're going to teach you how to shape all of these pieces, like when you break a vase, what to do with the pieces and how to make them into particular shapes. So there is a link to the boot camp right at the top if you want more information about it. It's going to be open August 5th. We're going to start taking registrations next week, and I'm so excited. So we are going to make a beautiful, hey Derek Farley, we are going to make a beautiful hydrangea, but these are going to be our leaves, okay? So for our flowers, I have the big fat glass. Hey Jean, I have the big 1/2-inch glass. Now I don't carry this in my store. Hey Doris, I don't carry the big glass in my store because I just don't sell it enough, but I do keep some on hand for me because I do like it. But you have to really be doing something conducive for the bigger glass chunks, because that's one chunk. It's huge. It's a big old chunk. So this is the Clear Classic. I have some of that, and we're going to use Solax, which is kind of a blue-green. Yes. Is the boot camp for people in the boot camp is for everybody, Jennifer. The boot camp is a beginner's course. It's a 4-week course to help people who are maybe a novice in the glass arena who need some help getting started. Okay, so the boot camp is going to teach you how to make glass art, how to use the resin, how to cut things, how to tint resin, how to tint glass. Look what I tinted. Oh, look what I tinted. So we're going to teach you in the boot camp how to tint your own glass to make pretty colors that you can't buy already tinted. And it's just like for beginners, so that at the end of the course, if you feel like this is something you want to pursue, you can come into the Shattered Circle, but you'll already have enough experience that you won't be overwhelmed with what we're doing in the Shattered Circle. Okay, so this is our Clear Classic. This is our Solax. These are pre-tinted. We buy these already tinted, these colors. This color I made, which is purple. Love it. This color, hey Debbie, hey Mary Ellen, hey Linda, this is blue. I don't know what color to call that, except it's beautiful and it's perfect for, yes, Jennifer, yes. And we'll have a special deal for you, sweetie. If you're in the Shattered Circle, you're going to get a special deal. This is the Clear Classic. Okay, so I took the Clear Classic and I made this pretty. And I also made this color, which is metallic. I made my very own metallic. Hey, Deborah in Crestview. So we are going to make flowers with 5 different colors of glass. These are our colors we're going to use. It is beautiful. I love it. I love this color. It is a hydrangea color, isn't it? It truly is a hydrangea color. So we're just going to make some flowers out of our different glass colors. And we're going to add some leaves, and then we're going to pour our resin. This is going to be the easy part. Yes, the purple is purplicious too. Yeah. So in boot camp, we're going to teach you how to make this. So I'm going to move all of these off here for 1 sec, because you know what we got to do first. We got to elevate our canvas. I'm going to move our little glass leaves off too, right to the side, so that we can incorporate those when it's time. So the first thing I want to do is elevate my canvas, okay? So I've got my blocks. I've got way too much glass on my little table, and I'm feeling a little crowded. Feeling a little crowded over here. So let me move. So well, this is a big canvas too. This canvas is 16 by 20. So let me see if I can raise you guys up just a little, and maybe you can see a little more. That's better. I think that's better. Let me see. Is it raining there? It is hotter than blue blazes in Georgia, honey. Hotter than blue blazes. Okay, trying to get us situated so you can see everything, and so that I can still see your comments and all the things. So I am going to raise my canvas. I'm going to stick a couple of blocks under so that I've elevated my canvas off of my surface so that if the resin drips, it won't glue my canvas to my canvas. It won't glue my canvas to my table. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is make sure it's level so that our resin doesn't run off one side or the other. I think we need to go up a little bit more. Let's go. I'm having issues today, aren't I? Got more issues than National Geographic. Okay, so we are not level, of course. We knew we weren't going to be because this table is terrible. So I do need to put my sticks back under. And these are my sticks I use every time. Hey, Ag! I'm going to use my little popsicle sticks under my canvas on this side because it's always off here. This is a habitual thing. Hang on, I got to stick them under. We'll check it again. So we are now level, and we are level. And the reason we do this, just to remind you again, is so that if one side is higher than the other, all the resin's gonna kind of flow off the low side. So we don't want that happening. So we are gonna make sure our canvas is level every time. I actually think I may get 2 more blocks because this is a bigger canvas and we don't want any accidents happening with all this glass we're about to put on. So I'm gonna put another block under here and one over here, just for safety. Better safe than sorry. So now we're good and sturdy. So, guys, I'm glad you didn't see that because I almost fell off my chair into the floor. Okay, Agnes, you're gonna have to watch the whole video because this is 3 layers of paint. We did this on Friday, and we stenciled pearl, and then we stenciled color, and then we mixed our color with modeling paint or with heavy gel and made dimensionals as well. So there are 3 layers of goodness. Yes. You know what, Diana? I need to just glue the sticks to the block, don't I? Excellent. You know what? When we're done, I'm going to take a block and glue 2 sticks to it with my resin. How's that? Somebody remind me. Okay, so here are our colors. So yes, it is a stencil. It is a hydrangea stencil from Royal Design Studio. So these are my colors again. Fantastical. So I'm just going to kind of, and you know, the hydrangea is just kind of a round flower, so we're just going to make big round blobs. I just want to try to kind of figure out where I want to make them because I don't want like these 2 colors really close to each other because they're very similar yet different. So I'm going to start with my purplelicious. Hey, Sissy. And I am going to I'm trying to decide kind of my angle, you know, where I might put them. But I think I'm going to start with my purple right here on this edge. Okay. So I'm going to just pour the purple into a hydrangea-esque shape. You know, we can all make a circle with glass, can't we? Nothing too hard about that. So you guys need to get to making. Get to making hydrangeas. Yes, ma'am, it would. The modeling paste would work perfectly. So here's my first flower. And it's just a round circle. And I'm not going to try to make it perfectly round on the edges because no flower is perfectly round. So the next one I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to use my clear classic and maybe go, I'm trying to figure out, maybe here and here and here. So I'm going to do my clear here. And they're going to touch a little. I'm just going to add a little circle of clear classic glass. so fun. Hey, Cindy from Cindy. Thank you for blessing the page, Cynthia. Thank you very much. Anybody who wants to bless the page will get high praises from me. Blessing the page is good. So there is our clear classic glass. And I think we will move, I don't want it to be like doom, doom, doom. I want it to be really random. But I think I'm gonna move like right here, and I'll do our Solex, which is like a blue-green color. We'll just fill that in. I love this big old glass. And that's like half a pound. That took a half a pound per flower. So, thank you for blessing. Y'all get me sing talking again. So, let's just keep going. We're going to add leaves after we get all our flowers on. So there is that one. So I think I will come over here. I don't have much of this metallic color that I made. So I'm going to put it over here away from this clear. So let's see. Oh, that is so pretty. Oh my goodness. I did good, man. I did good making that color. I'm going to have to make some more. And I'm just using my clear classic to make my colors, so, you know. That one is good. See, but now we're like boom, boom, boom. So I need maybe to come, I may have to get some more glass and do, I'm going to do my bright blue, my blue Alicious right here. I may have to get some Solex and do another one like off to the side, so they're not all uniform. Oh my goodness, this is so awesome. Guys, look at this. Yes, I definitely am gonna get some Solex. Yes, I love it too. So let me grab some Solex. Oh man, guys, guess what I have? Ugh. I have another color, so I'm going to let you guys help me decide what color to use. But I'm going to go ahead and put some more Solex. I hate to cover up that hydrangea, but it just, because that's one of our dimensional ones, but this needs to go there, so it just is what it is. I'm going to add one more hydrangea here. Then you guys got to help me decide on the next color, because I have two more colors of blue glass, but I'm not sure which one would look best. And maybe put it like right here. So this piece is still showing. So, okay, so what I have is, where is it? Hang on, I'm coming. I have a little bit of this color, which is Pacific Blue. It's the fat glass. That's all I have is that little bitty bit. But it's, oops, it's mirrored on one side, so it's metallic. So I have this blue for our next flower, or this blue. This blue is really similar to the blue I made. So what do you think? Dark blue or aqua? Give me some loves. Dark blue or aqua? I love this blue too. Thanks, Judy. I'm glad you found me. Dark blue, aqua. Dark blue, aqua. Dark blue, dark blue. One more dark blue. Boom! We're doing it. I like that decision-making skill. All right, dark blue. So I am just gonna dig out of my bowl and put right here. Oh yeah. Good decision, ladies. Excellent decision-making skills you have there. I almost feel like we need to keep making more flowers. I'm not sure this canvas, I should have done this on a hardboard canvas. I'm not sure this canvas is gonna be able to take all the glass I wanna put on it. Yes. Hey, Patsy. So, what do you think? I think something's bugging me. Somebody tell me. I don't really know because I've got my nose too close to it, but something is bugging me. What is it? I know, and I know we still have to add leaves and all, but something is off. I'm supporting my regular canvas. I should have used wood because I really didn't think I was going to put this much glass on, but I did put a 1x2 on the back of this canvas so it doesn't sink down. Yeah. Something. Too much Solex. 4 flowers to my left. Here, right here. I don't know, what is it? Too much of this? It's too balanced. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like something is crazy. Let me take this. And then we'll look again. No, it's not. It wasn't a waste of time because I can still see it. There's dimension here. I can still see an entire flower here and an entire flower here. So it was totally not a waste of time. It just gives it a little more eye candy. Move this one towards me. Okay, let me get some of this green off. Maybe I should just have a smaller green bud. Yeah. I don't have any more purple, so I can't do anything else with purple. So let me get this out and then we will take a peek. See what the deal is. Yeah, I was thinking that too, Sherry, is maybe making, I don't have any pink, maybe making, these are pretty much all the colors I have except for that aqua color that we didn't use. Maybe making a couple of smaller flowers. Maybe right here? I don't know. Hang on. See, this is how life really works in the studio. You know, and this happens to me all the time. You know, I put some glass down and then I have to like that's not working. Dump it. Yeah, so let's see. Maybe move this over. I don't know. I'm going to keep futzing. Right. That's what I was thinking about doing, is putting maybe a little bit of that Solex right here. Since I have so much of it. like it's peeking behind. Let's try that. It's not too bad. It's kind of, I'm going to try to make that into a half flower. I'm working it. See, sometimes it just takes a minute. Everything doesn't always come out. Remember when I first said we were going to make this hydrangea? And yeah, and I said, who knows what's going to happen? It may be crap and it may be good. Well, see, you don't know sometimes. So should I put like a half flower here or a whole flower, or maybe skip that space? Let's see what kind of leafage we have. Let's do this a minute. Maybe a piece of a dark blue here. I'm going to add some leaves and then we will figure out. We'll see if we can't figure it out. I think the leaves will help, so I'm going to go ahead and stick a couple of leaves in. and see if that helps figure out what needs to happen next. Yeah, half a flower just like right here. So they're all kind of in the center, like a centerpiece. Let's get the dark blue. Yeah, it's getting there. It is getting there. This is how it works. This is how true life in the studio. Whoa, wait a second. Hang on, guys. I had to plug my phone in, and then my tripod lost his mind. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of blue here. I'm going to pull this out for 1 second. Just like a half a bit. See? That's not too bad. No pink. Huh. I don't mind that. I don't mind this. What do you think? I don't mind this. This is better. Let's add some leaves and see what happens. Oh, I kind of like it. And see, I can still see some of my dimension. Oh, it's pretty. I'm futzing with leaves now. It's getting better, isn't it? Yes. This piece of glass, guys, this is hilarious, but this piece right here, I don't know if you can see it very well. This piece, and I'm gonna get another one. This piece, you know, on a wine glass, the bottom of the wine glass, that's what that is. They make perfect flowers. So if you find some cheapo wine glasses that have the thick bottoms at Goodwill or somewhere, the bottoms of those glasses make perfect leaves. Just saying. Just saying. Let's see here. I got a couple more flowers available. Let's see if we can get them in or not. Maybe one here. And I don't want to overdo leaves either, though. Do you think that's enough, or should I try to stick them in? I love this, guys. I'm going to have to. There's a green piece to your left. Oh, right here. That's a big piece too. It's kind of blue-green, so I think that's why I put it over there. Doesn't kind of fit with the leaf colors. Let's see. We're all cricket, aren't we? I love it. Okay, let me just stand up over the top and look really quick. And put one leaf here. Turn piece around this one. This one. Like that or no? I think it's good. I think it's good. Add a little leaf here. And boom shakalaka, folks. At the bottom by clear and purple. Here. I'm not sure where you're talking about. Here? See, this is the hard part. I'm liking it, so I think I'm gonna leave it. I think we don't mess with it at this point unless it looks terrible, which it did when we first started. So I'm happy with this. Yeah, I think I'm done. I think I'm gonna put a fork in it. Yes. So guys, now we get to make resin. I'm so excited. This is so pretty. I'm so glad I put that bracer. And I want to show you really quick what I did. So if you give me 2 seconds to grab a board, I want to show you what I did. I had to grab a canvas too. So here's what I did on the back of my canvas, guys. So you can support your canvas a couple of different ways, all right? But if you only have like a stretched canvas and you want to put something heavy on the top and you know it's probably gonna like bow down from the weight, what I did was I took a 1x2 and I cut it to size and nailed it inside my canvas. Of course, this is too big, but you get the drift. I cut it to the length of the inside, right across the middle, and supported my canvas with that 1x2. So you can do that if you don't have the abilities to make your own canvas. So let's make resin. So we have a 16x20. And now I gotta figure out how much resin I wanna make. I think since I have about 50 things over here to resin, I'm gonna be very generous with my resin making. So I'm gonna get my cup, put on my gloves. You're welcome, Anita. Okay, so I'm all gloved up because anytime you use resin, you definitely want to wear gloves. It's the resin that I use is art resin, so it is not a hazmat product like most resins are. It's a non-VOC, non-BPA resin, and it's a 2-part resin, but most epoxies are. So we're gonna do part A and part B, but we put our gloves on because it's sticky and icky, and we don't want sticky hands. So I am going to blow off my canvas because there's some debris. I'm going to go ahead and mix 8 ounces. I'm pretty sure we're not going to use 8 ounces on here. Yes, it is important. I always wear my gloves. I'm going to mix 8 ounces, and I don't think we're going to use 8 ounces on our canvas, but I'm going to go ahead and make that because I have other things to resin. Thank you, Betty. I love it too. I'm completely in love. But when we're done, I will tell you exactly how much resin we used for this 16x20 with all this glass on it. So I'm going to go ahead. I need to, I'm going to put it on the corner so I can make sure it's level. So I'm going to start with part A, and I'm going to pour 4 ounces of part A in my cup. I love these little cups that I use. They're from a website called thepaintstore.com because they have all the measuring ticks on them so I don't mess up. So I'm going to pour my 4 ounces right on the line. So I have to go really slow when I get to the 4 ounce mark because you don't want to mess that up. And if you're a beginner, you need to pour in 2 cups, okay? You're gonna pour part A in one, part B in the other, and then mix them together. You don't wanna pour in 1 cup if it is if you're a beginner, because that measuring the mixture has to be 50-50 perfect. So you don't want to pour in 1 cup and take that chance if you are not a very confident resin making machine. So I'm going to pour 4 ounces of part B. Once I get close to my measuring line, I'm going to stop because it's starting to self-level and you need to give it a minute to catch up to itself, and it has. And I'm dead on the money. Dead on the money. So now we get to mix resin. So I have both parts in my cup and I just spit on myself. So I'm going to start measuring. Hey Marilyn, I'm glad you found it. Yeah, the leaves did help, didn't it? Other than that, it's just a couple of big mounds of colored glass. So I'm going to start measuring or start mixing. You have to mix this for 3 straight minutes. Okay, so if you're using the 2-part system, you are going to need to pour part A into part B and mix for 1.5 minutes, and then pour both of those back into your other cup and mix for 1.5 minutes too. So these are all things we talk about in boot camp. Walk you through all the processes, all the reasons why. Yeah, mine have a paint stick under it too. Oh, you mean for support? Yes. You can also slip a pre-cut size piece of wood, 1/4-inch plywood, or cardboard to kind of help keep it stable. But I have a nail gun and I have a unlimited supply of 1x2s because I build my own canvases all the time. So I always just use the 1x2. It's quick and easy. Hi, Darlene from Tampa. So I'm going to continue mixing for 3 minutes, scraping my sides as I go. Make sure we get all that resin mixed in really well. So while I'm doing this, does anybody have any questions about what we're doing, about the hydrangea, or about our upcoming beginners boot camp course? So excited about that. I filmed videos all day yesterday. I worked on a custom piece of art. I filmed videos. I have to film videos when my hair's clean. The chubby glass comes from my distributor in California. I don't stock it because it just doesn't sell that well, so I just keep it enough for myself. But Joanne, you can probably find it on eBay too. It's just, instead of 1/4-inch, it is 1/2-inch glass. So do a search for the 1/2-inch. Yay, Marilyn! We are going to open the doors for our boot camp on Saturday of next week. We're so excited. Actually, Sunday. I don't know what I'm thinking. On Sunday, we're so excited. So excited. We're really eager to help you guys, get your confidence built up enough that you can be making all the big glass arts, and maybe come join our membership community where we're making some good stuff over there. The white area right here, it's not really white. This glass is mirrored. It's blue on one side and mirrored on the other, so it's really just a reflection. It's not really white. Yeah, that's the problem with most of the glass companies, is if you buy it, you have to buy 10 pounds. That is why I sell it on my website by the pound. Because, you might want 10 colors, and you don't want to get 10 pounds of 10 colors. That's a lot of glass. So I try to keep it in stock. So Joanne, if you want some of the 1/2-inch, you can just email me and I will see if I can accommodate you. Yes, shiny glass. Uh-oh. I don't know. I think it's been 3 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to just scrape my sides one more good time. Go across my bottom. And we are ready to resin. So I'm just gonna sit that there. I'm gonna stand up because it's just easier for me to resin standing up. Makes my back hurt, but it's easier. So what I'm gonna do now, guys, is drizzle my resin in my glass areas. And I'm gonna start with one flower at a time. I'm gonna start over here with the Solex. So I'm gonna cover the entire flower before I move to the next one. And I'm gonna cover the entire flower. And I'm just gonna go from flower to flower to flower to flower until we're completely covered. And if I can't see my, I'm standing up so I can't see my iPad now, so I'll have to just come back and answer questions. So I'm drizzling the resin on my glass to make sure it's all covered really well. Drizzle, drizzle, drizzle. So we're just going to do one flower at a time. That way we're not skipping around and then we end up with a big mist area. That would not be good. We don't want to come back tomorrow and have a big chunk of glass fall off. Okay, that one's done pretty well. I'm going to hit that leaf. We'll move to the purple. I love the purple. Woo! Wish I could see what y'all are saying, but I can't, so I need to concentrate on doing my resin anyway so I don't miss a spot. And you know, because nothing is more sad than coming in the next day thinking you're going to pick up your beautiful piece of art and there's a big chunk missing. That always makes me sad, but it happens. It happens to the best of us, especially when you're using a lot of glass. That's why I try to be methodical about applying the resin to my glass. I try to work in, like, you know, I start at one end and I go across and back across to make sure it's all covered really well so that I don't have those problems. Somebody is honking their horn at me. This is the metallic that I made. Oh my God, it is so pretty with this resin on it, guys. It is really super pearly looking. Oh my goodness, super, super pearly. Now would be a good time to talk about me because I can't see what you're saying. So I'm just gonna keep talking to you like I do know what you're saying. So if you want to bless this page, I would be very appreciative of that. That's what keeps us coming back and doing videos for you. So I'm just going around and drizzling. And the reason I drizzle this way is so that I'm hitting the top of the glass. I'm putting it on the top of the glass and then it's seeping down through the glass into the glass below it and then actually adhering it to the canvas so that everything's all stuck together really nicely. So I'm going to do my middle flower. That's our clear classic glass. I'm actually going to raise this leaf up a little because it's kind of curved and I want to make sure I get that a little bit of glass underneath there and then we'll just stick it back in. Probably should do that to the other one too. These ones that are kind of curvy, they don't really allow that resin underneath, so we'll just fix that. I have to continue. Don't get sidetracked, Cindy. Continue my center flower. Okay. So remember about, I'm just trying to think of stuff I need to tell you anyway. So about a week or so ago, I was gonna come online and show you guys how to do the, what do you call it? The transfer on that black piece of furniture that I had. Girls, ladies, not even remotely the right size for my piece of furniture. The piece of furniture, actually my chest that I was gonna do the transfer on has a bow. The top drawer is bowed, and the bottom two drawers are flat. So it just was not something I could do. So we're going to be doing some lives though. I'm actually leaving Tuesday to go to Memphis. That's where I'm from originally. And it's my children's birthdays. My daughter is a July 16 baby, and my son is a July 26 baby. So they're 8 years and 10 days apart. So I try to go and stay for a week in July to celebrate their birthday. So I'm going to be going to Memphis next week, or this week, I guess, Tuesday, and staying there. So I am going to do a couple of lives because I'm going to take some stuff with me that I have to have done because I have an art show. When I come back, I have an art show. So I'll be back on the Monday, the following Monday, and then on Wednesday I'll leave to go to Savannah for an art show. So I don't want to miss seeing my babies, but I also can't miss out on making the art I need to make. So if anybody is asking questions that can't be answered by somebody else, I promise to come back after the live is over, since I can't see anything right now. I'll come back and answer any questions if there's nobody else who can answer them. So we're almost done. This actually took a little bit more resin than I thought it was going to because there is a boatload of glass on here, guys. Each flower though, I mean, it's the fat glass. I think that's why it's taken so much. It's not like, because there's probably maybe a ½ pound of glass per flower, but there's also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 flowers. 8 flowers worth of glass, so it adds up, I guess. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I've got all my leaves are covered, my glass is all covered. So now what I like to do is go and just drizzle some around the outside edge where there is no glass. And then I'm going to spread it with my hands. So we'll just drizzle. And let's see what we used. I can sit back down now so I can see. We used, what did I mix? 8 ounces? So we used 6 ounces. So we used 6 ounces on this canvas. Little surprised. I was thinking maybe it would be 4, but I should know better because that was a lot of glass. So what I'm doing now is just taking my gloved hand and where I drizzled, I am just spreading that resin around on my canvas so that everything is covered really nicely. Doing it this way saves money on wasted resin because if you just flooded it, you're going to be flooding it and using more resin than you actually need to use. So doing it this way really in the long run saves you money. And I'm all about saving some money. Who's not about saving money, man? I mean, come on. Go over here, I'm just smearing, just finger painting with my resin. Guys, this, oh my goodness, I cannot wait to send you guys pictures of this. It is so stinking sexy. Oh. You get that top piece. I'm trying to get all of it done without sticking my big head in the way. Let me see if I can get this. Oh, I can see now. Voila! So I've used my hand to just spread the excess resin around the entire canvas. Just going to peek at it sideways a little bit and make sure I don't have any skippies. And now I'm going to just take my gloves off. And I want to show you how I take my gloves off because my hands are saturated with resin. And I don't want this flipping up in my face. I don't want it flipping onto my phone. I don't want it flipping all over the studio. So I'm going to just carefully peel my glove off inside out with my other gloved hand, and then I can use this hand to do the same thing, and it's all contained. I can throw that in the trash. So now what I'm going to do is take my skewer, and you can just use a toothpick or any sharp object, and I'm just going to do a once over on my canvas to make sure there's no debris, no little fuzzies, no little hairs, nothing that shouldn't be there in my canvas. If it is, I can just pick it out with a pointed tip. See, there's a little something right here, just a little dot of dust. I can just pick it out with the tip of my toothpick, skewer. That one don't want to come out. And then we don't have problems. Now that's not to say that, you know, after I go home today when this is still wet, that some other dust particle might fly into it, but I can't really control that, and I don't even try. If it's a big nasty dust particle, I will fix it, but for the most part, I make so many art pieces every day, there's no way I could contain them all. Okay, so now that it's all covered, I am going to do my thing with fire. We make fire. So I'm going to use the propane torch. You do not have to use propane. You can use a heat gun. You can use one of those small, like the little creme brulee kitchen torches. You can even use a blow dryer if you have one that has a really nice low setting. So you would want high heat and not very much air coming out. So what pops the bubbles in the resin is the heat from your propane, not the fire. Okay, so you don't want your flame touching, the canvas. You just want the heat from the flame. And you want to keep your torch or your whatever heat object you're using, whether it's a heat gun or a torch, you want to see how I'm just moving constantly. I'm never stopping. I'm just moving over the entire canvas. That's what you want to do. If you stop and focus on one spot, I got a little skippy right here. If you stop and focus on one spot, you could burn your canvas, you could burn the resin, and you won't even know you did it until about a week later when that spot starts turning yellow, then brown. So you don't want to let your fire hit your canvas, and you don't want to focus your heat source on one spot. So just keep it moving. See? Keep it moving. This, all right, let me turn my fire off and put this. And you want to put this, whatever you're using, it's going to be really hot on the tip. So you want to put this somewhere where it can't burn anything. I have a concrete floor, so I always just like set it on the floor, because that will burn the stink out of you. Okay, so let me see if I can answer some questions. I'm going to raise the camera back up. Look at this, guys. Oh my God. I have to stand up and look again. I love this so much. I really do.